Rabbi, Rabotai, welcome to another edition of our Thursday night's class. Shem Hashem Naaseh v'Natzliach. Tonight's class was donated for the Hatzlacha of Tzion ben Aaron HaKohen. Hashem should bless him with bracha v'Hatzlacha v'chol Tov Sela. Amen v'Amen. Amen. I want to tell you something. Whatever time the text went out today of the class, I was thinking normally I put in a topic because people asked me to put in a topic. So I had this whole idea in mind that I learned last night, and I prepared such a beautiful speech. It was unbelievable. And I was really excited to come give it. And then on the way here, everything shattered because I realized that that's not what Hashem wants. So tonight is not going to really fit what we wrote in the sign. You'll forgive me, and next week we'll talk about that. That was a very Pesach themed thing. Tonight is going to talk about something else because of what I saw. Here's how it started. A gentleman, who's a good friend of mine from Israel, sent me a link to a speech. Told me he wants me to hear some speech. I said, what's this speech? I never heard of this guy speaking. So I never heard of him either. But his ideals, his values are very different than what I hear from you all the time. On Fridays when he gets the link, he listens to the Thursday night class. So I'm confused now, so I want to know what you think. So I told him, you're lucky I'm in traffic now on the Garden State Parkway. I have some time. Let me see what this guy has to say. And this guy started talking over there. Didn't bring one Gemara, one Chazal. Amaretz Doraita D'Rabanan through and through. But his agenda was one and only one thing. Look at the generation. Nobody keeps anything. Nobody does anything right. And even I don't even want to repeat his stupidity. On and on and on and on and on. It's all our fault. Why? Because we don't get up there and say that if you don't do what's right, you're going to drop dead and go to hell. Those were his words I'm quoting. He said it in Hebrew. I'm saying it in English. And he said a lot stronger things and crazier, not stronger, stupider things and whatever. And he went on and on and on and on. And then he went to parenting. You know why the kids today are growing up on drugs? Because their parents don't tell them that if they do the wrong thing, they're going to get burning out. And then he went to marriage. You know why people don't get along? Because people don't tell their spouse that if you don't do the right thing, you're going to go to hell. And then he went, every single subject, the same answer he had. He thought he found everything. The only thing that I was able to do at that point was lose my appetite. I was eating a bagel in that one hand, listening to that. I lost my appetite. I put the bagel on the side. And I said, the one person that maybe is going to hell is this guy. But the rest of us, I think that's not the situation. But then I said, listen, he went to such a low level. I'm not going to just come make a mockery out of it. Because for that, I just won't mention it. So I said, well, what do we got to talk about? What do we got to say? What do we got to do? I said, to explain our whole philosophy, that I've done already many times. It's not ours, the Gemara's philosophy. And then, when I came here to learn, I have a chavrusa 45 minutes before the shir, so we were learning, and we were somehow it came up before we started learning, while we were walking from the car to here, Kivrot Tzadikim. And I told them I have the zchut to go here, to there, all different places. And then I told them, but there's one tzaddik that I've been wanting to go to for years, and every time I made arrangements and I went, sometimes I even flew out to the area where he's buried, something happened that I didn't make it to the kibbutz. One time I got very sick, one time this, one that. Each time there was something else. So I feel like I don't have a zchut to go to the tzaddik's kibbutz. So I hope one day I'll have the zchut. So he says, who's that tzaddik? So I told him, I don't know much about him honestly, but I have a lot of friends that go. They live in England and it's closer from there. And his name is Rabbi Shaila Castillo. And they go there all the time. And they say amazing things. I've been all over the world, Kibbutz Tzadikim. We're not the craziest countries, places that are dangerous to go to even. There, a relatively easy place to get to. Never had the zchut to actually make it. So he tells me, don't worry, after Pesach, Yaakov, I'm going to make the arrangements. With me, you're going to get there. I was happy. I said, okay, after Pesach, maybe we'll go, we'll have a zchut. Not during Nisan, we don't go to Kvarim during Nisan, but Kvarot during Nisan, but afterwards. Then he tells me, what are we learning tonight? I said, I have some sefer that I got. I didn't get a chance to go through it yet. Let's open it up. Whatever it opens to, that's what we're going to learn. We opened it up. It's a new sefer. Naturally, it's easier to open towards the beginning. So we open up, page 16, 17. And both of us turned like pale. The first piece of the paragraph is a story about Rabbi Shaila Castillo. Just happened here upstairs 45 minutes ago. We turned pale. And this story changed everything I was going to talk about. I said, now everything has to change. And I'm holding the sefer up here, so I can make sure I get the facts right, the details right. If you want to know which sefer it is, here we got it for the video too. It's called Mekarvan Torah Nagadah Shel Pesach. It's a great investment. It cost me $20, unreal. This is this rabbi from Israel. Whatever I read so far, every piece is a diamond. Of Aaron Taisi. Hashem should watch over him, he's still alive. So he brings down a story from Rabbi Shaila Kastir. Rabbi Shaila Kastir was known to be a huge machnis oreach, to have tons of guests. But not machnis oreach like we do. We're all machnisei orchim, right? We all have guests all the time. But we pick our guests based on who we like to have in the house. He has too many kids, don't invite him. He has this, that. He's a pain in the neck, don't invite him. You know, the one guy who happens to be single and in a good mood and good and popular and the easiest guest to have, that's our achrasat orchim. Shaila Castillo picked all the guests that nobody else wanted to have. He had the guests that, you know, so it's sometimes you don't feel comfortable at your own table when they're sitting there. And people used to ask him, why does he go to such an extreme? He was a huge Talmid Chacham, Gaon Olam, a master in Torah Chassidut, a master in Kabbalah also. So he go to such an extreme. And then when he brought the guests to his house, not only did he bring them to the house, he had gabayim, people who worked there, people that helped out, he didn't let anybody do anything for the guests. He did everything himself. He served, he cleaned, he this, yeah. That really the gabayim didn't like. They were upset about it. Let us do it. It's not respect. The great rabbi going, serving, running around. You're not a waiter. So he used to answer them that it says in the Torah that he stood by what he thought was Arabs. It turned out to be angels, but at the beginning he thought they were Arabs. He stood on top of them and he fed them. He gave them, he served them. So I'm not greater than Avraham Avinu. If Avraham Avinu did it for what he thought was goyim, I'm going to do it. For sure I have to do it. That was his answer. It goes so far that by the Hasidim, Rosh Hashanah, Shacharit, Musaf, it's not like by us that embarrassed to even say what time we start, and by 12:30 we're already home. They start 7 o'clock in the morning, and if they make it home 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right before Shkiyah, it's a nis. They have a prayer. You know where it begins, you never know where it ends. Pages and pages, like Yom Kippur is their Rosh Hashanah Shacharit. How all Yom Kippur is their Rosh Hashanah Shacharit. Piyutim and this and songs, hours and hours. You can't stay in the shul from 7 in the morning to 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon, and you pass out. It's not Kippur. So they have a custom, which today some Sfaradim stole too, because it's a convenient one. But before Tkiyat Shofar, even though Pi Halakha is not so simple, they would make a Kiddush. And like this, it would give them energy to be able to continue the prayers throughout the day. In Olama Yeshivot in Israel, every yeshiva does it. Obviously, there is what to rely on. All the big chassid, when you read stories at tzaddikim before Tkiyat Shofar, what do you read? That they locked themselves into a room and they would involve, they were reading Tikkunei HaZohar, right? That's what you're supposed to do before Tkiyat Shofar, a special piece from Tikkunei HaZohar that you read to finish, where you start with Chodesh Elul, it's a whole avodah. And it's Razin de Razin, the top secrets. Actually goes in the Sfirot, 7 times 7, big things. And Rabbi Shaila Castillo never went into any closed room. And he never did any kavanot. His preparation for Tkiyat Shofar was that by Kiddush he would go and make sure everybody had got a piece of cake, had a drink, feels good. Do you need anything else? Do you need another drink? What do you need? And his students, they didn't understand. It's funny. The rabbi, we're relying on you to get our prayers up. We'll get the cake ourselves. So you tell them all the other guys, rabbis are busy with Razim de Razim. But I'm busy with something else. There's a prayer that we say. We want the year to be a shana l'sava velo l'razon, a year that's full, meaning that's blessed with wealth, and not skinny, not starvation. He said, I switch instead of razin de razin l'sava velo l'razon. I make sure the Jews are well fed before Tkiyat Shofar, and I think my tkiyot go up just as well as theirs. That was what he lived for. This was his legacy. This is what it says over here. So it says a story. 1 year before Pesach. I don't know, most of us don't really know this. If there's anybody in the room that happens to be Ashkenaz, so you may be aware of this. By the Ashkenaz, besides for Kippur, they have 8 days of Pesach. 8 days that there's almost nothing to eat. Matzah and potatoes, that's it. No rice, no kitniot, no this, no that, no. And I'm not making fun, that's their minhag. God bless them for being able to live up to that. I have neighbors that they don't even eat any, even vegetables. If it has a peel, they don't eat it. Everything has to be able to be peeled. Because maybe on the peel, there's a, I don't know, chametz got stuck to it. Maybe. Some don't eat fish. So now the menu keeps on getting slimmer and slimmer. What it turns out is, at the end of the day, it's eggs and potatoes. The whole Pesach, eggs and potatoes. There's so many different dishes. They have an Ashkenaz cookbook called Potato Paradise. 100 and something recipes, what you could do with potatoes. Everything, they have this potato kuku, potato latkes, potato this, potato that, potato cubes, potato, all the potatoes. And then the Hasidim have even more than that. They don't eat gebruks, that means they don't eat matzah that got wet. So they can't even dip their matzah in the soup or in that. The matzah they only eat dry, as is, no water. No moist, forget about water, no moist. I have an uncle on my mother's side who's a big dayan for Vishnitz in Bnei Brak. And in his house they eat matzah on a disposable tablecloth. Then they wrap up the tablecloth, take all the matzah away, and only then do they serve food or drinks or anything. So God forbid from the cup, shouldn't drip one drip of water, shouldn't splish, and it hit the matzah box. That's how far they go. Now imagine you're an Ashkenaz person and who has all these chumot, and I'm not making fun, beautiful chumot, Ashrei Matov Chelkehem, and you don't have potatoes. So now what's left? Just eggs. That's 50% of your nutrition of the whole holiday is gone. It goes so far that it's brought down, I think it's in the Tiferet Yisrael, in Mishnayot, that even though Pi Halacha, on a potato you say Adama, he brings down that there was a custom in his neighborhood that on potatoes they used to say Borei Minei Mizonot. That's not a bracha. What does Mizonot have to do with potatoes? He said, because why do you say Mizonot on flour things? Because it's mezin, that's fills you up, that's the main nutrition. He says, by us, we didn't have white flour and all these things. All there was potatoes. Not only Pesach. There was poverty. All year round they lived on potatoes. He said, so as a karata tov to the potato, he writes, they used to say mizonot. Of course we don't do that, but just understand the concept. One year in Rabbi Shaila Castillo's town, in the town of Castillo, there's no potatoes. It's a few days before Pesach, we're in trouble. So he sends his guys out to do research. Where can we get it from? Maybe some other country. They go east, west, north, south, they travel everywhere. There is none. There's a shortage on the market, nothing doing. Finally, one guy comes back to him and tells him, listen, Rabbi, he found one goy, not even a Jew, a goy, who lives whatever amount of travel time, a far distance away, who he has a huge storage house full of potatoes. But he's a stingy guy, and he knows the Jews want it, and he knows they're not finding, so he's in no rush to sell, because every day the price is going up, the value is going up, supply and demand, right? That's the way the market works. So B'Shaila says, well, what do you mean? It's 3 days before Pesach, soon there'll be no demand anymore. He says, right, he's waiting, Pesach. He says, no, bring me them right now. They get in a carriage, they travel a long time, and the Rebbe comes to the guy hoping to influence him that he's going to sell the potatoes. Not free, sell. He tells him, could you sell it to me? He says, no. So the Rebbe thought he'll get straight to the point with him. He says, listen, I'm not stupid. I know every day that goes by it's worth more. So let's make a calculation what it's going to be worth at Pesach, and I'll pay you right now the full price, and goodbye. The guy still wouldn't do the deal. He tells him, Rebbe, you don't understand. I'm an old man. What's it going to help me? Money? I'm dying soon anyway. I don't need money. He says, so you don't need money, so give it to me for free, even better. But give it to me. He says, no, I want something else. He says, what do you want? So he tells him, I'm not dumb. And I know that you're a holy man. And holy people, after they pass from this world, they go to paradise. And I'm not a holy man. And after I pass from this world, I don't know where I'm going. So I figured I have an idea. You want potatoes, I want your paradise. You sign a contract that you're making a payment of your entire olam haba, your whole paradise, for the sake of the potatoes for the Jews. If you're willing to sign the contract, good. If not, not. For us, a lot of us could sign that contract very quickly. I don't know what's going on in our olam haba. But B'Shaila Castillo's olam haba, Halavai, one day, we should merit to see the dust under his feet in olam haba. That would be big. Halavai. And B'Shaila said, bring a paper, write the contract. And the guy wrote the whole thing, and then he said, but wait a second. I'm not stupid. I know you think because I'm not a Jew, it's not going to work. I want it done according to Jewish law. I need 2 Jewish witnesses. He brings Eidim. I want it done with a Kiyat Kaf also, a handshake, which in Halacha has very strong severity. No problem, a handshake. This guy came prepared. The guy knew exactly what he wanted. Came with all the corners and covered all grounds. And he sells him his Olam Haba. He says, now can I get my potatoes? And he says, it's all yours. And they bring wagons and they load and load and load. And they take they come back to Castilla and there's enough for everybody. They give it out. Like the Jews have what to eat for Pesach. They're as happy as could be. Before they came to Castilla, Rabbi Shaila turned to the 2 people that were with him and he said, I'm asking you for a favor. Don't tell anybody what happened over there. I don't want anybody to find out. What is the fastest way for a Jew to spread a message? Not through social media. Don't tell anybody. Rabbi Shaila didn't know that. These 2 guys after Pesach, the whole Pesach they controlled themselves still. But after Pesach they went to one person, don't tell anybody. They don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. And within a few minutes it was like wildfire. The message spread everywhere. And the Hasidim couldn't handle it. They were embarrassed. Their Rebbe sold their Olam Haba so they should have potatoes on Pesach. They couldn't deal with it. So they went to him and said, Rebbe, what'd you do? Explain us. What'd you do? And Rabbi Shaila told him these words. I'm going to quote it from the Sefer. I don't want to mess this up. The first few words were in Yiddish, the rest were in Lashon HaKodesh already. I'll translate the Yiddish part. The ganze Olam Haba von Yeshaya, the whole paradise of Yeshaya himself, is nicht wert, is not worth 1 drop. Im yeh Yehudi echad beKastiyah, if there'll even be 1 Jew in my town, Kastiyah, shelo yeh lo tapuchei adama bePesach. They won't have a potato on Pesach. Let's try those words again. The whole Olam Haba of the great Rabbi Shaila Kastiyah, with all his avodah, with all his chesed, everything he did, is not worth them 1 drop if there'll be 1 Jew that's going to be lacking 1 thing on Pesach. And not Stam a Jew, his own student, who the student knows him, he doesn't know the student nothing, who wouldn't agree to take it at all, knowing that this is what happened. And still it's not worth anything. When I saw this story, I told my chavruta upstairs, I said, Rebbe, my speech just got destroyed. The whole beautiful fancy speech on freedom and Pesach and what it means to be free and this and that is worthless if we don't understand that the foundation of Pesach is chesed, and to make sure that Klal Yisrael has what they need, and to be people of chesed, and to make sure that there's no Jew that's left behind when it comes to Pesach. But then I was still stuck with that poison that I heard in the car on the way here. So I said, now how do we go? What's the next step? Okay, we heard a nice word from Rabbi Castillo, a nice story. What's the next step? So I thought of something that I think is very powerful. Like, I thought, the Gemara talks about it, but it came to my mind. It's a Gemara, it's in Bavli twice, not just once. I'm quoting from one of the 2 times. Yivamot Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Bet. It's also a Gemara in Maseret Bava Kama Daf Nun, I think. The Gemara says a story, identical word for word, except for 1 word difference between the 2 Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan, I'm doing everything from inside. So we have sources. Everything should be sourced. That's the way everybody has to do it. Maaseh bebito shel Nechunya Chofer Sichim. There was a story with the daughter of a rabbi named Rabbi Nechunya, whose nickname was the one who digs pits. What type of nickname is that? So Rashi writes, he wasn't a contractor. Rashi writes that Am Yisrael used to go up 3 times a year to the Beit Mikdash, Aliyah Regel. On the way they would get thirsty. For some people it was a long travel, up to 15 days, the Gemara says. They needed a way to drink. There was no service areas and 7-Elevens along the way. What should we do? Back then they weren't so sophisticated. And Uber Eats didn't provide services in the desert either. So what this rabbi would do, he would take off time from his learning, and he would go to these places where they walk, and he would dig holes before the winter, so when it rains, the water should accumulate in this. So afterwards, before Pesach, when they go up, Aliyah L'Regel, before Sukkot, they should have wells to draw water from and be able to drink. Unbelievable. So this rabbi's daughter, Nafla lebor gadol, she fell into a big pit. Normally when somebody falls somewhere, what do? You call 911 for help, right? The fire department should come. Today when a cat gets stuck on a tree, you call already the fire department. In those days there was no 911, and there was no way to get her out. So what do? So they came to the Chacham, the rabbi. They came to Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa and they let him know, we got it. Rabbi, crisis! His daughter is in serious danger. She fell into a pit. We don't know if she'll make it out. Sha'ari Shona Amar Lahem Shalom. He didn't pray for her. He doesn't say anything. He told him she's fine. What do you mean she's fine? They have guys standing there. She's not fine. Shniya, second hour, Shalom. She's fine. Shlishit, Rashi explains, well, third hour is already a time that it's physically impossible to last inside a hole for that long alive. So by then she would have to be dead. Amar Lahem Alta. She said he came up already. She got out of there already. She's fine. She's out. Okay, Alta, let's check. They go to the pit. Sure enough, she's out. They tell her, thank you to Rabbi Chaim ben Dosa. He got you out. He was the one who said it. So she said, let's go say thank you. She went there. Amar la, so he told her, Biti, mi elach. Who got you out of that pit? Who got you out? Amra lo, so she answered him, Zachar sherecheli mizamen li. I saw a ram, v'zaken manigo, and an old man leading the ram. A ram came into the pit with an old man. How did they get in? So Rashi writes, what's the Zachar sherechelim? That was the ayil of Yitzchak Avinu by the Akedah. When Hashem told Abraham not to slaughter Yitzchak, so then an ayil came, a ram, that ram was there. And who was the Zaken? Abraham Avinu. Abraham Avinu and this Korban, the ayil, came from Shamayim down to this hole to save this girl. So Amula, when the students heard that, they were blown away. How did he know? How did the rabbi know? Amula Naviyata? What are you, a prophet that you knew that she's getting out? Amar lahem, he told them, Lo Navi Anochi, I'm not a prophet. Velo ben Navi Anochi, I don't even come from a father who's a prophet. He can't even say my father's merit helped me. Ela, only, Davar Shat Tzadik Mitasek Bo. And this is the one word that's different in the Gemara Bava Kama. In the Gemara Bava Kama it says Mitzta'el Bo. Something that a righteous person is busy with or puts a lot of turmoil and suffering into accomplishing. Yikashel Bo Zaro, is it possible that his children will end up getting hurt as a result of such a thing? His whole life he dug pits to help Am Yisrael. There's no way to say that now his kid's going to get hurt because of a pit. And therefore I knew she's going to get out. That's the first part of the story of the Gemara, very famous. The second part is a little less famous. And it seems that this next sentence in the Gemara seems to be a direct contradiction to what the Gemara just said now. Amar Rabba added on, Afal PK, even though this story happened. Mate beno batzama, his child died at thirst, his son. That's what the Gemara says. Shnei how could it be? So the Gemara brings two opinions, two different psukim, that God is very stringent with the tzaddikim. Tosfot is bothered by a very obvious question. If it can't be that a kid of a righteous person will get hurt from something that he did, and that was the guarantee of Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, so how could it be that his son died of thirst? And if it could be because God is very stringent with the righteous, so then his daughter could have died too. How is Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa so confident? So Tosfot says a chidush that the Gemara doesn't say. Tosfot says it. The chidush is that the first situation was she didn't fall into any pit. She fell into a pit that the father dug. So that's why he was sure that she'll get out of it, because something that the tzaddik did himself can't be his daughter will get hurt. The second story, his son got stuck without what to drink. He died of dehydration. So that's separate. The Maharsha and many others are bothered by this on Tosfot, and they say they don't understand. If the idea behind it is that God, midah keneged midah, something good that you do, He protects you in, so then what does it make a difference, the son and the daughter? It's the same thing. Hashem should have protected both. And if there's no protection from it, because there's no reward in this world for what you do in this world, so then it shouldn't protect either one. Why was the daughter saved, and why did the son end up passing away? And listen to a pshat that I heard from the Rosh Shiva, Bekat Ephraim HaBetzal Pinchasi Shlita, on Tuesday night in Brooklyn. He lives in Israel, he was here for one night, and it was worth it for him to fly 12 hours here and 10 hours back to Israel to tell me this pshat. He said, you know why? Because in heaven, there's no sporadic things that happen. Everything's extremely calculated. That means when something's going wrong in somebody's life, they have a coalition meeting in heaven, and they decide, should we change it, or should it stay this way? And what does the verdict depend on? One of two things. In some cases, the verdict depends on how righteous or not righteous the person is. But there's a way to beat that. And this is a good thing to know, because if you're going to work on a merit-based system, good luck. It's not a lot of fun. If in this world there's a righteous person that says about the one who's in trouble that he's a righteous person or that he deserves to be saved, then in heaven they have to go by what the righteous person in this world says. So Vitzal Pinchasi said over, I forgot from who, he quoted this part of the answer. He said, when the daughter was in trouble, Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa was still alive. And since he was still alive, he was able to say in this world, what does it mean the 3 hours? Shalom, shalom. He said to them, don't worry, she has to be saved. You know why? Because I'm going to God now and negotiating a deal. And he went to God and said, God, he gave his life to give people what to drink. How could it be that he's going to get hurt by it? And at that point, even though Mishamayim there was a Gzeirah, and even though she had to die, there was no choice but to let her off the hook, and she got saved. By the time the son was dehydrated and dying for thirst, it happened already years later. Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa was no longer alive, and there was nobody to say good about the son. And as a result, the son passed away. I don't know what is or isn't going on in Am Yisrael today. I'd like to believe that everything's perfect. Unfortunately, sometimes I hear from others otherwise. But I do know this, that by talking bad about a Jew, we're definitely not going to accomplish anything. We're not going to help him, not physically, we're not going to help him spiritually, we're not going to help him in any way, we're just going to cause damage. And we ourselves are going to hurt ourselves by doing it. Because then in Shamayim, Hashem starts looking with a magnifying glass of what we're up to. And we learn from this Gemara, it's a Bavli and a Tosfot and a Malsha, you want to argue with them, good luck, but then you're not Apikoros. That the way to help people, the way to assist, the way to benefit, and the way to benefit yourself before anybody is to constantly speak positive. And it's to constantly advocate for the sake of positive about people. And that's the deeper level of Hevei Danet Kol Adam L'Kasut. It's one step past judging favorably. It's first judging favorably, and then on top of that, utilizing it as a means of negotiation. And what's a bigger thing than to come to God and say, He's your child? And why would you let your child suffer? I think that's the strongest case in the world. He's your child. He's right, he's wrong, he's this, that. I once heard, Hashem should forgive me, but this is where I heard it from, a lady who's a speaker, Christian, she's not even Jewish. And, but we used to speak together on the circuit, not for Jews, for Goyim, in the medical field. And in one of the talks that she gave, a motivational talk, she was talking about the idea of employers that destroy their employees. Why? Because they always have to be right. I'm the boss. Now, a lot of times you're wrong, and your employee actually is the one that's right. So say thank you that they saved you. No, I'm the boss. They're not going to respect me as the boss anymore. And they destroy their own business. She was talking about this topic. So she wanted to give an example to show people what it means. Right, wrong, this, how stupid this whole idea is. This was the example she used. She said if any of you have young children, you know, that one of the things that kids like doing, 2, 3 years old, when they're, you know, at the initial stages of walking and running, is the last thing they want to do is hold hands with their mother or father on the street. They always like running ahead, running to the street, running, so they're always running around. They don't. And sometimes you even offer to hold them, to carry it. No, they want to be independent and to run on their own. At the end of the day, it's dangerous. Kid, God forbid, how many stories do we know? We should never know anymore. But how many stories do we know? Just this week alone, there was a kid like that passed away. He ran into the parking lot in a shop, right? And a car reversed, and that was the end of him on the spot. Hashem Yirachim, Hashem should say enough to the tzarot. So parents, responsibly, you know, they do what they can that the kid shouldn't go running away. Sometimes they got to hold the kid's hand, they can't let go. Sometimes even tight. So there was this one mother had a kid. Every day, same story. She picks him up from school. He goes running into the driveway, running here, running there. She was scared. She keeps on telling him it's dangerous. You could hurt yourself. You this, you that. Nothing working. Then she thought she would get graphic with him. You want to get hurt? You want to be in the hospital? Kid doesn't understand. He doesn't care. He just wants to run. He wants to have fun. He's not interested right now. And of course, exactly what she feared of happened. One day, they're walking on the sidewalk. She lets go of his hand for 1 second. He goes running into the street, and a car hits him. Exactly what she was worried about the whole time. And now the kid is splattered on the floor, gushing to death. What's she going to do at that time? Go over to the kid and look at him and say, I told you so! Or is she going to flip out, take a phone, call 911, 311, every 11 that there is to see anybody who can help? Save my child! And then if the kid makes it and he's in the hospital, she won't budge from his bedside, even if it means weeks or months. She'll take off from work. The whole family she'll forget exists. She has to save her kid. That's the only thing that's important. Obviously the second. And somebody who does the first, the psycho, is a murderer, is an evil person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a father. And he's a father that testified about us. Haben yakir li Ephraim im yeled shashuim. Am Yisrael is so beloved to me that even at the time that they play games, that they behave like children. So yes, in the Torah it said many, many times not to do different things, like Chilul Shabbat, Niuf, and other things. And it even says harsh words about it. But when a person did fall, but when a Jew isn't doing the right thing, and now he's splattered, and his neshama is all over in Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba, and his body and his physical, and everything's going wrong in his life, is Hashem going to stand there in Shemayim and say, I told you so? Or is he going to say, come my child, let me help you. Let me save you. Let's try again. A father told me on the phone on Monday that he had a kid that had an opiate addiction that relapsed 28 times in the past few years. Nobody should have to know of such a thing. He said, including a few times that he would have to be hospitalized and other tragedies. And he spent on the kid close to $1 million just in rehab centers and doctors and treatments. And after all that, he said, after all those times, I still didn't give up. And he told me I took a home equity loan on his house, otherwise known as mortgage his home, to send him to the next place. If that's what a father who's a basar v'adam, flesh and blood in this world does, imagine what Hashem does. Flesh and blood, he should have said, my kid, you want to screw your life? Don't do it. Learn the hard way. Or like some idiots say, he has to bottom out. The problem is, bottoming out is 6 feet under the ground. There is no bottom out. That joke's over. But that's a father. So imagine HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Shamayim. But what's me'oreh rachamim? What makes that has to happen, that there's no way the good? Yeah, maybe people are doing things that are wrong. Could be. I don't know. But it's not their fault. They're anusim. They don't know better. And even if they know better, the Yitzhak is so big today, who knows if anybody could win it? And even if in theory they could win it, deep down they always regret. So they're always doing tshuva, right? And one thought of regret is mechapa and years of sins. And even if that doesn't happen, there'll be a day they'll walk into a shul, they'll meet somebody will hug him, they'll get a spark. Then it'll turn around to the good. God is your child. And as a child, we never give up. When you go with that attitude, so then you have what the Gemara says about Nechunya Chofel Sichi. Then you have a Zaken, Avraham Avinu says, you're my child, you're who I want to save. You want Avraham Avinu as your insurance policy in life? That's a pretty cool one to have, no? I would want that. Here's your way to get it. Here's your way to get it. But now I have a bigger question. How is Rav Nechunya allowed to do that? How is Rav Chanina Mendoza allowed to go to Hashem? With these claims, it clearly says, many Gemarot, we spoke about it before Purim, you're not allowed to ask for miracles, and here he's asking for an outright miracle. Nobody was able to save her, and now he wanted a miracle. You know what the answer to that is, boys and girls? And take this home with you, it was worth the whole night. It was worth this rabbi's trip from Israel and the whole night. The answer to that is that Chanina ben Dosa understood that by saying good on another Jew, it's no longer a miracle that he's going to have good. God put into the nature of the world that the way we judge, he judges. And now it's already a natural thing. That's very deep. And could be, if you want to take this very, very far and deep, that's the whole idea of prayer. That God put into the nature of the world that when you pray, at that point, it's not a miracle. It's a medicine. And now you could already pray for whatever you want. Now you could demand whatever you want. And if you believe it, it always works. This is already on a very deep level. But this is the way it works. So now, what was our Mechunyach Chofetz Yichim's thing that saved the most? The fact that he gave his life to make sure that Klal Yisrael is fed. He gave his life to make sure that Klal Yisrael is fed. And that's what the Gemara said, not once, twice in Bavli, and by the way, once in Yerushalmi also. It was worth it for the Gemara to repeat the story over and over again, just to drill into us how you obtain a relationship with Avraham Avinu, by making sure that Jews are fed and have what they need. Isn't that an amazing thing? Let's learn Chod Pesach a little bit, right? Chod Pesach, you have to start really 30 days before. We're already 2 weeks before. Yeah, 2 weeks before. 2 weeks, Thursday night, Bdikat Chametz. Chazal say Bdikat Chametz, the real Bdikat Chametz is to look for the Chametz inside your heart, Chametz the Yetzer Hara, to look for what's going on here. The rest also is, of course, important, but you got to start here. So we're going to do an early Bdikat Chametz tonight. The important one that we need before Rosh Chodesh Nisan Haba Aleinu L'Torah. Kol Am Yisrael L'Torah. Maran Shulchan Aruch says 30 days before Yom Tov you have to learn the halachot of Yom Tov. We learned that out. Moshe Tiken Lahem L'Yisrael, the Gemara. So Maran says like this. Shoalim B'ilchot HaPesach Kodem LaPesach 30 Yom. This is an Orach Chaim Taf Chaf Tet. Siman Aleph. Sif Aleph. Siman Taf Chaf Tet. Sif Aleph. 30 days before Pesach, we begin to learn the halachot of Pesach. By the way, I sent out a list this week. If you didn't get it from one of the forwards of our recommended Passover list this year of products that hopefully are kosher for Passover. Not everything that has a hechsher you could actually eat on Pesach. You could eat the hechsher. That you could do. The mashgiach probably you could eat too sometimes. But not everything that has letters means it. And Hebrew letters is even a bigger problem. Yeah, this year came out clearly like that a lot of the Hebrew letters are much more troubling than the other letters. We sent out a recommended list of what to buy for Passover and what not, and there was a lot of hours of work and thought put into that. And I know a list come a dime a dozen. Somebody posted in one of my chats, it had nothing to do with me, some list of somebody else, and I went through the list because I was curious to see, and I agree with the list 100% for one thing, for dogs. Dogs should follow that list 100%. Pet food, that's good. But not your pets, because you're not allowed to own chametz to feed your pets. But for humans, you have to be very careful. It's not a joke. People go into the store, the guy told them it's kosher for Passover, so he told you, and therefore, what does he know? It's a big, big skill. Second of all, you could go into a plant, I'll give you an example. You go into a plant, you kosher the whole plant, you manufacture the best, with the best texture, the best product, the best everything. But now I got to get transported to a packaging plant. If it's a liquid, it has to go into a tanker. When it goes into a tanker, there's no way to clean a tanker, and there's no way to sterilize a tanker. There's definitely no way to kosherize a tanker for Passover 100%. So what are you going to say? Bittul. You don't go and rely on that. Only after it happens. And this is what's going on straight throughout the industry. And that's why it's better sometimes to buy a product from a company that manufactures and bottles and plants and does everything themselves. Even though the hechsher is not Hebrew letters, it's English letters, aka the OU. Than to go buy Hebrew letters that who knows how many hands it went through and how many errors happened along the way. You have to understand, kashrus is not a letter thing. It's a chokhmah, it's a wisdom, and I don't have that wisdom. I consult many, many different people that are professionals in the field that are doing this for years and years and years, and afterwards we compile a list based on whatever these people agree on, the unanimous agreement of all these people. Be very careful, it's not a joke. It's a Pesach, chametz is asur, afilu b'mashu, even anything, it's not and it's brought down in the Sfarim HaKadoshim. If somebody doesn't eat chametz on Pesach. So there's all different promises depending which sefer you look, and many others. But one of the promises is that you won't sin the entire year. So if you did any sin this year, then maybe you didn't follow the list last year. There's one of the things. Another thing is that you live the whole year. Life insurance policy, not a death insurance policy. Life that you live the whole year. Be healthy. Today Hashem Yirachim, what stories we hear. Hashem gives you life. It's a good thing to invest time in. It's a very, very good thing to invest time in. And if you don't know, you shouldn't be embarrassed. Ask. Or go. Be a guest by somebody who does know. Don't be embarrassed. Once I went to visit somebody in Chol HaMoed. And somebody who I thought, about Shuvah for many years. And I asked them, how did the cleaning go? I was just looking to make conversation. I didn't mean to interrogate. So much work, the lady tells me. 3 weeks, every night I would come home 5 o'clock from work, put the kids to 6:30, 7 to bed, and from 7 until who knows what time, cleaning. And shame, he said, I said, what's there so much to clean? You're in a 2-bedroom apartment. She was more machmir than the Chazon Ish. She was explaining to me, she took Q-tips with bleach inside the corners of the things, and she did stuff that I never heard of. I said, this house, wow, even the floor is kosher Pesach over here. Well, this is unreal. Then I said, but what do you do with all your cereal and your baked goods and this, yeah? I know, you always have a stocked fridge and freezer and closets. In your house, there's always shefa. He said, what do you mean? I marked it off, chametz. I closed the closets, I marked it off. Marked it off. Say, did you do a mechirat chametz? No. What's that? So here she went 3 weeks on her hands and knees with Q-tips cleaning, and she has chametz gamur and isur doraita, millions of isurei doraita every second in her closets. Now it's not her fault because she doesn't know, but at the end of the day, that's what's going on. That's a classic example that you could know. Years ago in Baltimore, there was a crazy story. One of the rabbis, they told me recently. He said that a guy had a baby girl, and he wanted to make a kiddush on Pesach. And they tried to convince him to push it off till after Pesach, because Pesach is so hard and not everybody eats everything and that. He insisted to make a kiddush on Pesach. They didn't let him do it in the shul. They have a rule in the shul, no outside food on Pesach, rightfully so. So he ended up taking a hole and making a kiddush on Pesach, first morning after Musaf, in this hall. Kol tuv sheba'olam. Beautiful, everything, unbelievable. At the end of the kiddush, the rabbi went over to him and said, listen, I never knew on Pesach you could make such a thing. How'd you get such beautiful cakes? How'd you get it? And he didn't mean to attack him, because today they're all different companies, one or two of them that I listed that have a good extra, that make cakes that are gorgeous. I don't know how they taste, but at least looks, they're really gorgeous. Kasher Pesach. So he said, what do you mean? Very simple. I went to the matzah bakery. I paid top dollar, and I bought Bechaim Shel Yad, it's the most fanatic flour, from the matzah bakery, and I had my pastry chef make cakes with that flour. Otherwise known as all 100% chametz. And since then, they have a takona there. There's nothing. No kiddush, no stories, no nothing. Because this guy didn't mean bad. I'm sure he paid some crazy amount of money to get access to this flour. I'm sure he sterilized and bought a mashgiach to kosherize his pastry chef's kitchen. I'm sure he did everything in the way he understood is going to make it not just kosher, more kosher than anything, because he had to prove a point that you could do it. But he forgot one technicality, that when you mix flour with water, it don't make a difference if the flour is okay. It becomes chametz, that's it. Unless you did it the way it has to be done for a matzah. That's why this is a chokhmah. This is about knowing the facts. It's not about theory, about people's fantasy. But anyway, after Maran says, learn in Chot Pesach 30 days before, Maran continues and says the next thing. This is not Maran, this is the Rama. The Rama says, minhag, and is a custom, liknot chitim, to buy wheat, lechalkan la'aniyim, to give it out to poor people, litzorech Pesach. This comes, the first seif in Shulchan Aruch for Pesach. Before we talk about checking for chametz, cleaning, anything. What comes first? Minhag, and is a custom, to buy, to make sure that the poor people have what they need. So there's a very amazing story over here. That a Motche from Nadvorna lived for a while in Kastir, and he was going to go to a tzaddik that was the Baal Mechaber of the Sefer called Ach Pri Tvuah. Tzvi Hirsch Milisk. Zecher Tzadikim Levacha Zchutam Tagen Aleinu. And they heard he was going to that tzaddik. So Kastir went over to him and told him, tell the Rebbe from Lisk that I have a question on Halacha in the Ramah, the first Siman Shulchan Aruch Chot Pesach. Maran says in Shulchan Aruch, we say 30 days before Pesach you have to learn about Pesach. The Ramah says that there's a custom to buy chitim. These are two different subjects. So that they're in the same halacha, that's not the end of it. And Shulchan Aruch comes up a lot of times, the Ramah adds on something. That we understand. But the Ramah doesn't write minhag, it is a custom. He writes uminhag, and it's a custom. Why do they add the vav on? Why uminhag? Why the vav? That's the question that he had. Interesting to make a diuk like that in the Ramah, that was his big question. But what's more interesting, he told them, and tell the Rebbe when you go to him, that the question's the answer also, and he'll understand already. Okay, he has a shlichus, a messenger, to do what he has to do. So he went and he told him. He told him, I'll tell you the truth, I don't know, the Ramah to say it to you, why he put a vav? Because he was continuing the same halacha, that's it. What's the big question? The Rebbe from Lisk went to go bake matzot. When we bake matzot, we use what's called mayim shelanu, water that was overnight. We draw the water in the evening and we bake matzot with it the next day. So it's a way of securing that the water should be below a certain temperature. And on his way to go draw the water, the tzaddikim used to make their own matzot, they didn't rely on others. He sees a lady on the side of the street crying. And he goes over to the lady and he says, what happened? Why are you crying? And she tells him, Rabbi, don't ask. A few days ago I wanted to bake matzot. When I came to the bakery, they told me you have to have flour. She says, a couple of days later, I got a hold of kosher Pesach flour. I came back to the bakery, they told me you have to have mayim shelanu. He said, today I got mayim shelanu finally, like last night, I had it. Now I want to bake the matzot. I went to the bakery, they told me there's no time slot left. It's too close to Pesach. And they don't have manpower that's willing to stay late to bake the matzot for me. And she's crying in bitter tears, Rebbe, what's going to be? The Jewish house not going to have matzot on Pesach now. And the Rebbe turns to his Hasidim and he says, now I understand, Beruach HaKodesh, what Ramot Chalamin Avornu sent me a question and an answer. Maran says in Shulchan Aruch, 30 days before Pesach, start learning the halachot of Pesach. Comes the Ramah and says, not just there is a custom. You want to know what Maran meant 30 days before, start making sure about Pesach? Uminhag liknot chitim. Make sure 30 days before Pesach that you start working on every single Jew having matzot for Pesach. And every single Jew having whatever they need for Pesach. And every single Jew coming to the Seder the way you should come to a Jewish Seder. So it's a direct continuation of the preparation for Pesach. The Leila Seder is an unbelievable night. It's Laila Shemisadrim Bo Dvarim Harbeh. A night that a lot of things can be organized. What does that mean? It's brought down from Ve'ari and others that it's a Shat Ratzon Shamayim. There's no power of evil during that night, right? We don't even say Kriyat Shema L'Amitah because we have nothing to be scared of. It's a Leil Shimurim Ula Hashem. Hashem protects Am Yisrael. So Shimurim means that your prayers and Leila Seder go straight up too. We've said countless times in Shiurim, as you come prepared, that's how it works. It's what you cook on Fridays, what you eat on Shabbat. Nishachal be'erev Shabbat, yochal b'Shabbat. The preparation for Pesach is, of course, to clean, to this, to that. It's all beautiful. The real preparation for Pesach is to lose hours of sleep over figuring out more ways and raising more funds and doing more that we could secure that each and every Jewish home, each one in his territory, whatever he knows how to do, or whatever he's affiliated with, has what they need for this holiday. And Baruch Hashem, Am Yisrael is holy. I'm involved in this. This is my life. Everybody knows that from Tu B'Shvat until after Pesach, there's nobody to talk to. The phone's on Do Not Disturb. And I got to tell you, Jews are amazing people. Jews are amazing people. Today somebody blew my mind away. A kid, 9.5 or 10 years old, something like that, called me. I was on the way here already. The only reason why the phone went through was because I was on another line. I saw a click. It was the number of a friend I picked up. I mean, it wasn't him, it was his son. And he tells me that he asked his father if he's allowed to do it. His father gave him the okay. He has whatever amount of money in his, whatever, his jar, his thing that he saves his money in, that he gets for his birthdays from his grandparents every year. He wants me, he's going to drop it off in my house for Kimcha de Pischa, that we should give it out to poor people for Pesach. I said, of you, your Olam Haba, I'll never get to see. But now I'm also jealous of your father. How did he raise a kid like that? Kid 9 years old today, what's he thinking about? Where's his next game coming from? Where's his next, whatever, I don't know, what do they call virtual reality coming from? And this is what this 9-year-old was coming from. You know why? I'll tell you how. Because his father for 12 years, after he comes home from work, and goes to Daf Yomi, and goes to Mincha Navid, and learns with his kids, then comes to me to help me out, voluntarily 100%, with all the, he's an accountant by profession, to make all the arrangements of finances, to keep everything calculated and organized, and this and that, 100% for free. And when does Pesach come out? Tax season. That means his number one season of the year, they should be working overtime, making money. What does his kid see him do? Going to help other people. That's where you get a kid like that. What did this guy gain in his life, besides for a child like that, which that's priceless? That Avraham Avinu says, I'll take you out of every situation in life, I'll protect you. Avraham Avinu says, I'll take you out of every situation in life. And he's going to kill me for saying this, because I know he's going to watch this tomorrow. But tough luck. This is the Toilet Tarabim for those who are going to watch this. 5 years ago, we should never know only on Sunei Israel, they diagnosed his wife with cancer. And they got diagnosed his wife, it was 3 days after Purim. And he came to break me the news and to ask for medical advice. And I didn't know exactly, it was a very rare thing. It wasn't regular cancer, it was a sarcoma, a very rare strain that's unheard of. And we started looking for specialists and doctors and to figure out where to start it all. And finally there was a Jew in Muncie, Tzaddik was an organization, it's unreal. If you want to see a real tzaddik, here's one of the tzaddikim, Echo Institute for Health, Rabbi Zev Weitz. Tzaddik like him, Alavai Am Yisrael should all learn from him. God gives his life for years and years and years. His father already did it to help people out, to guide them in their time of need, where to go, which doctor, which this, which that. One of the best Jewish organizations that exist. And the people there, they work on starvation salaries. There's not a money thing, and it's unreal what they do. Unreal. They answer hundreds of calls a day of people that are desperate because they don't know where to turn because of illness and other things. All for free. All unreal. Tzaddikim, real tzaddikim. So this rabbi gave us then some advice, a brilliant piece of advice of a certain doctor, happens to be an Indian doctor, in a hospital in Maryland somewhere. And he said, maybe that doctor would know. We called this doctor, it was a lady. And she says, yeah, I know this thing. I already treated a few patients, very few patients in the world documented with this strain of this thing. But I treated a few already. Success rates are not great, whatever. But I have a very painful thing to say. Time is working against you, but unfortunately, I had a family loss, a tragedy in my family, and I have to fly to, I forgot where she said, somewhere in India, she said a name. I'm going to be there 2 weeks with my mother, and after that I'm going to come back. So the first appointment that I could see you is 3.5 weeks later. Came out the first day Chol HaMoed Pesach. The guy came back and told me this news, and he was drained. I said, let's call back our whites. We called him back, we told him the whole story. He said, listen, I'll send you to Sloan Kerry, I'll send you here, I'll send you to other doctors. But they don't know this. Here's somebody who knows it. 3.5 weeks is not enough to say that it's that. It's safe to say that we'll wait. He took the responsibility. Fine. We took the appointment, of course, and everything, and we knew the first day Chol HaMoed Pesach, the lady's going there, and we were all going to go with her, all the people involved that deal with this guy, because he's such a tzaddik, and he volunteers his life. And every single night I used to tell him, don't come to help. I found other people that will help. You be with your wife. He says, that's what I try to do. She throws me out. She says, the only thing that will save me is tzedakah v'chesed. She says, we go through this every night. I come home, I say I'm staying home, and she throws me out. She went the first day. The lady said she can't read the CAT scan, the MRI of this other place that the hospital has found out this thing. She needs to do a new test. They did a new MRI, a new CAT scan, knew everything from scratch, new test. She said, I don't know what you came here for. You're perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. 5 years later, she goes every 6 months for testing just in case. And there's nothing there. Only on Sunday, so things like that should happen. Avraham Avinu came to her. Maybe she didn't have the merit to see him. But that's what the Gemara says in Yevamot. And says, you have a good eye. You're sending your husband out to do chesed. He has a good eye. He's giving his life for years straight. Then it was 7 years, now it's 12 years straight. To make sure the Jews have what they need for Pesach. This is what you care about. I'm going to come and save you. And it makes no difference if the medical world says you could be saved or the medical world says you can't be saved. Kachi kocha, that's how you misader dvarim halbeh. We should be osek b'tzedakah v'chesed kol hayom. We talk about this all the time. That's our legacy. But Hashem should help that we should continue doing this. And we should be magdil Torah v'adiyah. My ultimate prayer is our tzedakah v'chesed should be that we just sit and learn chavrusa with each other. There should be no more sick people in Klal Yisrael. There should be no more poor people in Klal Yisrael. And the world at large should be a happier and healthier place. And our chesed will be that we'll sit and do chesed with the world. We'll sit and learn, and the whole world will enjoy our Torah. But until then, we're going to do whatever we can in any way, shape, and form to make sure that no Jewish kid is ever left behind. Be'ezrat Hashem. Hashem should help. We should have only good things. Amen v'amen. Bruchim to you.